Oh, here we go. Music.
There we go.
Music. What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the DNVR Nuggets Pregame Show. The energy is elite. It's immaculate. Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up, and do sign up because later in the show, Dev's going to give you a bet. I hope you're going to be on my page. I'm telling you, I am feeling a certain way about tonight's preseason game, which is probably already tells you something. I should not be feeling a certain way. But I have strong takes, and I'm very optimistic about how tonight is going to go for the Denver Nuggets against Oklahoma City Thunder. And later in the show, I'm going to put some money down to show you how confident I am. But first, I'm joined by the handsome one, looking more handsome than usual, Harrison Wind.
It's probably because I got a new ring light, guys. Just want to give all credit to that.
Did you really?
The ring light.
You can tell, dude. Look at him. Look at the glow.
I had my old one through quarantine through last year. This is an upgraded version, though. Oh, Adam just flicked his on. Yeah. Adam just flicked his on. I saw.
It didn't have the same effect.
Yeah. No, gotta tweak the settings on that one.
Over here, I got Brendan Vogt.
I had my blue bowling shirt on, but I didn't want to get bullied for an entire opening segment, so I put this gray bland sweatshirt on. Still excited to be here.
Toughen up. And then Superstar Dep representing Park Hill.
Harrison, you weren't on the last show, so I just want you to I want to tell you what happened on the last betting segment. We bet the under, and it went under. It went under by a lot. But then they went into overtime, and we lost by a half a point.
Well, Dev, I'm glad we're keeping track of all your bets this year. Per your suggestion.
Yeah, that's right.
Per your suggestion.
I think we have a graphic with your
not record. Preseason. We are going to make a graphic, though. We are going to make a graphic. But today, guys, we're going to get into some game notes, of course, as always. We're going to talk about which player are we standing for, especially this year. I have a feeling there's one player that might get a lot of votes. We're going to talk about whether or not tonight is an audition or a preview of things to come. Are players still trying out, or is everything settled and now we're just getting to know what's going on? And then, of course, the bet segment. But first, Michael Malone today hopped on a microphone and said the words big balls.
Sure did.
Harrison, you want to take us inside the pregame commentary?
Oh, Michael Malone is just a gift, man. I don't want to cover any other head coach in my media career ever. I just want to cover Michael Malone because the guy's incredible. Of course, he was talking about Bones Hyland, and he just continues to heap praise on Bones Hyland every time he does a press conference. And yesterday at practice, he was very close to saying that like Bones Hyland is definitely in the bench rotation. Today, I feel like he pretty much said it again.
Even closer.
Yeah, Michael Malone goes, the kid's going to be on the floor. It's impossible to keep Bones Hyland off the floor. He's very, very close to declaring him in the rotation. But yeah, just every time Michael Malone speaks about Bones Hyland, he's just praising him. And yeah, he was saying how, he's not afraid of the moment. No moment's been too big for him. And then he said, quote, he's got big balls.
One other thing, Wind, just because it goes in line with sort of what we were inferring yesterday, he said, quote, I think he's earned the right to play. And that's definitely been Malone's mentality. He was discussing PJ and Bones as guys who have really stepped up, and maybe some other guys expecting minutes to be there, haven't earned them yet this preseason. I'm with you now, Wind. I will move it that much closer to a confirmation. What's like just short of a confirmation? That's where I'm at.
It is true. He is teasing this. Like at this point, if he doesn't tell us, like if he's like actually Bones isn't playing, it would actually, I would be offended. You're right. He hasn't said it, but he said enough that if it doesn't follow through now, we'll all be like, dude, you tricked us.
Sorry, this comment's taking me out. I was going to mention, dude. Didn't know you were so well read.
Yeah, these are all my favorite books over here. Dev, what do you make? One of the things that stood out to me, Dev, was that he said maybe he's just decorating this a little bit, but he said at the draft, I wasn't that excited about it. Basically implied that he's like, I didn't think anything of him. So, I mean, he's really going out of his way to talk about how much he's impressed.
I think that he actually did not. Like, I don't think he was high on him going into the draft, and then he's impressed him ever since that day. I really do think that's true. And then also, like, everyone's on the Bones train right now, but to see the head coach be on it as well, like, we already see how exciting he is on the court, but that means that behind the scenes, he's working as hard. So, like, he's seeing him in practices. He's seeing how he, like, is with the team. Other teammates are bright and excited about him. I remember when MPJ got drafted here, and everyone like knew that he was good, but they still like made comments about like, I hope he's as good as he says he is, and things like that, just to back it up. You're not hearing those things with Bones. People are like truly like bought in on him, but that just shows the type of work ethic and the type of player that he is right now.
Yeah. I think a lot of reason why is because he proved it from day one.
Right.
He was that guy at Summer League. He's been that guy at training camp. He's been that guy at practice. And he's been that guy in the preseason. So I think everybody's been watching him and being like, oh, this dude's for real.
Yeah. I mean, that's 100% it. And I know it's funny because we've been doing the show now, for 2 weeks with the season, and we've been hyping up Bones. Like, we've been hearing good things. We've been seeing good things. And, people have said, hey, we should pump the brakes. We're putting too much pressure. And there's something to that. Like, I don't want to overhype expectations or this or that. But at the same time, I also want to reiterate what I'm seeing, which is that he's one of the 10 best players on this team right now. And that's the part that I think is crazy, is sometimes you want to elevate a guy who's maybe 50-50 with another player because he's got the upside. Like, we want Bull to play over Chanchar because in theory, 7'3" shooter is, whatever. This isn't that. This is, I think Bones is just better than these guys. Like, right now, and he's going to get better than the rest, as time goes on. And while I do think there are people out there that think, oh, he should be starting or doing, people that take it too far, I just think he's going to be out there. I just think he's going to play. And now that we hear Malone saying that, we realize it was not overhyping him. It's actually, I think, appropriate to consider him just a piece of this team now.
Well, going back to his comments about the draft, I think he was just saying that's like a front office thing, right? Like, he's a head coach of a contender. So your 26th pick in the first round, it's important to hit on that. I'm sure, of course, Malone wanted the team to do just that. But no one's expecting any 26th, right, overall pick to come out and crack a contender's rotation. And so I think that's kind of what Malone was outlining, was just, look, that's not how these things typically go, but he's earned it. And so that's the source of this. And that's why people are getting so excited, is in just a month and a half, it's gone from, oh, is it that next maybe kind of phase or era or blue chipper in the pipeline, to, oh, is this a part of right now? And I'm guessing, fellas, by the end of the season, we'll probably be saying, can this guy help them win?
Right, totally. I see this comment here from Adrian, our friend from down under. He says it's the Nuggets trophy cabinet. Kale, can we ban him? I know,
Adrian,
like, he's a homie,
you are a homie, man.
But he's out of here, man.
You got a lot of space in that cabinet for trophies, I will say. A lot of space.
Hey, it's for the future. No, but in all seriousness, actually, I've talked to Adrian. We're going to be doing Australia has been in lockdown. I know you guys read the newspaper. I don't know if you see the news every now and then. Australia's been locked down more than most countries, maybe any country. They're coming out shortly, and we're going to throw a DNVR Nuggets watch party down there, TBD. But we're going to do another. We did this a couple years back with Denver Stiffs. We're going to do it again, and we'll try to make it a big deal. So if you're in Australia, just know that plan is in the works. We'll get a date out. We'll get a location out so people can make travel plans if they want to do that. Should be a lot of fun. Any other notes that stood out from the pregame, Harrison?
There's one more thing I want to hit on, and I was compiling some of these stats before we jumped on here, but we heard a lot about this throughout training camp and through the preseason so far. The Nuggets want to take more threes. It's something every team says, not every team follows through on. So far, right, the Nuggets are following through on that. Let me read you off a couple stats here. So through the preseason so far, the Nuggets are shooting 45 threes per game. That's the fifth most. Last season, they shot 34.2. So they're taking about 10 more per game.
That's insane.
Yeah, that is insane. 10 more. But I'll tell you what happens. Usually, coaches hammer these points home in the preseason. Usually you see an increase in the preseason, but then once the regular season starts, it goes back to normal. So last preseason, they shot 38.3 3-pointers per game. And then in the season, they shot 34.2. So it went down by 4. last preseason to this season.
Or
So
about
they're shooting
10%, depending on how you do it, but sure.
So they're shooting 45, per game right now. So even if that goes down by 4 once the season starts like it did last year, that's still 6 more threes per game than they shot a year ago.
Yeah. That is still pretty crazy. And I've seen that it's been up amongst the whole NBA. The 3-point shooting is really high in this preseason, like ridiculously high. So you wonder if it's a trend. I mean, we've been going in this direction. We keep wondering where is it, where does it end? But apparently nowhere near. So I am curious to see that. Part of this is playing faster. This is one of the reasons Malone wanted to play faster, is you generate threes and dunks when you get out in transition.
And
so
they are playing a lot faster too. Just their pace is way up. But that's another one where everybody's pace is super high in the preseason too.
Transition is up as a whole, and that's probably because there's more longer shots going up. I don't know. I have no idea.
All right. Well, let's move in now to our second segment, which is, all right, Bones Hyland. We expect him to play tonight and play good minutes. I am surprised. Malone did mention Jokic. He said he's not going to play 36 minutes. It's still a preseason game. So I thought maybe Malone would bring him back and try to get him 1 fourth quarter game's worth of reps. Doesn't sound like that'll be the case. But here's my question. JaMychal Green's out. I'll ask you this one, Dev. JaMychal Green's out. Bones is going to play. Presumably, Zeke Naji, Bolt, somebody's going to slide into that backup power forward spot. Is this an audition, or is everything solidified, do you think, in Malone's mind, and this is more of a preview of what's to come?
I think that I think this is a bit of an addition just to see if guys can do it with the guy out, especially. There's still like the back end of that bench, especially when it comes to like backup minutes for that center position. I think that is still in the air, and just seeing if guys can do it. So giving Bobo, Zeke Naji, guys like that, like minutes to try to defend bigger, I think that's not solidified. Also, the idea of Bones getting some minutes with his guys, or just the rotational guys, I think that's something that you really do have to watch. So that is not solidified. It's something you have to look at in this game.
Well, here's an interesting one right here. I'm talking about the audition was the minutes with the starters. I'm curious to see if he tries to get Bones with the starters. Once you get into the season, you probably want to get a consistent rotation and more or less stay there. But right now might be an opportunity to just say, can Bones do this with that group? We think he's going to play off the bench tonight and probably play a lot of minutes. But maybe Malone even makes a rotation where Bones checks in early so he can play with Jokic and a Porter. I don't know. But Vogt, what do you think about that audition tonight, or do you think tonight's a preview of opening night?
I think it's a preview, but I wouldn't use the word set in stone. I think Malone is open to. I think he'd prefer a set 10-man rotation, but I think he's open to both from a matchup sort of standpoint, and then also just giving guys the opportunity to prove they've earned the time. I think this bench could change a little bit throughout the season. Bones, I think, will have control over his own destiny, though. I saw, someone asked, is he going to get Maloned? And if he starts making mistakes, he's pulled. I think a lot of that could be contingent on the stuff that we're not privy to, even as media. How is Bones as a practice player? I mean, we can ask these questions. We don't get to see. How is Bones as a practice player? Is he still showing up on time, if not early, every single day? Is he still asking all of these questions, which we've heard has been a big part of his training camp and preseason? So I think that's going to, if he's doing those things, I think you'll see a longer leash. If not, that's what the Austin Rivers depth is for.
It's interesting where you bring up him potentially getting Malone if he plays through his mistakes, because Michael had a interesting comment pregame also where he was actually talking about the Thunder rebuild and the young talent that they have there. And he said the best way to develop your players is to have them play through mistakes. He was talking about the Thunder guys, but I gotta think that would be a little bit of his philosophy with Bones. We'll see. It hasn't always been with rookies in the past. I mean, we'll see though. In terms of, is this an audition or a dress rehearsal? I think for Bones, this is a dress rehearsal. He's won the job already. I think he's won the backup shooting guard job at this point in the preseason. If he has a bad game tonight, I don't think he's going to be out of the rotation. I think he's done enough where he's going to be with that bench unit, playing one of those backup guard spots. I think the two Greens are locked in. We're not going to see JaMychal Green tonight. He's out, but Jeff Green is locked in. I think those guys will both be playing as well.
Well, what
Maybe
about this, Harrison? But what about this? If J. Mike doesn't play tonight, should we read into whoever does play at the power forward and say, okay, that's the next man up?
Sure. Because Bull, Zeke, Vlatko, I mean, none of those guys has really emerged ahead of one another. So
yeah, for sure.
If
I would
one of
actually
those
say
guys,
Vlatko has.
Me too.
If one of those guys plays really well tonight, like really, really well, they could go to the leader of that trio, I'd say.
I think Vlatko's definitely the steadier of all of them. And to me, if I was the coach, I would feel 100 times more comfortable right now at this moment than all of those guys. But I think we all just think he has a little bit of a lower upside. You got something, Deb?
Yeah, just one of the questions that I posed to you guys is, with how well it went with Jokic and Bones on at the same time as far as spacing, is this a game that you use as a rehearsal or just a second look to see, was that a one-time thing where the defense just kind of couldn't adjust to it? I mean, we should give it another look. Or do you say that it was just like a good time, we'll just try it at different times?
You're talking about Bones specifically?
Yes, Bones specifically with the starters or just with another good score next to him. So MPJ or Jokic.
Here's the thing. If I asked on the roster, which player has a game most similar to Jamal Murray?
Probably Bones Hyland.
Bones?
I think easily. I mean, Facu doesn't have a game anything like him. Monte doesn't have a game like him. Marcus Howard doesn't have a game. PJ Dozier doesn't.
The other guy who is anything close to like him is Will Barton.
So maybe Will Barton, but I think Bones even just a little bit more like Murray. And so maybe there's something to that you can get to a point where you feel like, okay, I really doubt Bones ever starts, like this season or whatever. But maybe you do get to minutes with him because you're like, hey, this is the best representation of what we know already works. So I don't know. What I would say with regards to the audition versus preview, I think tonight is both. I think you're right that this is a preview and that he's got the job. But I think Malone is still wondering, how much do I trust him? Do I trust him 10 minutes? Do I trust him 15?
Sure.
Do I trust him 20? Do I trust him 25? And so that's why I'm curious to see how he plays. He's in a tough spot. He's already won the minutes, but he's in a tough spot in that every time you screw up, that factors so heavily in Malone's mind. And every time you play well, it factors so heavily. So tonight, I feel like it's important.
I would think Bones has written on a piece of paper somewhere, remember the score tonight. I think that's going to factor. I think he's going to be locked in with regards to those mistakes. But hey, you play him now. You learn these lessons now.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about who we're going to stand, who we stand this year. And just on the team, like on the Nuggets roster, we can go off field if you guys want to go somebody outside of it. But every year there's like a guy that you're kind of like, I'm planting my flag. This is going to be the guy. I think everybody knows from listening who my guy is. I mean, it'd be easy for me to say Bones. You guys can take it. You can take him. It's PJ Dozier. To me, PJ Dozier, that's the guy that I so believe he's going to have a huge impact on the Nuggets. I don't know how I win this because I don't know if his numbers are going to pop. I think it's more going to be when he's on the court, the Nuggets' numbers pop. And to me, I'm planting my flag. PJ Dozier, I so believe in it. I'm standing for it this season. What do you think, Deb? Who's your guy?
My guy this year, which is a bit of a change for me.
Jokic, probably, right?
No, it's Michael Porter Jr. I think that's the guy I'm getting behind. I'm gonna stand on that hill because I know how good he can be when he's locked in. He's such a electric offensive player, but when he buys in on the defensive end and he's rebounding at a high level, he's like one of the best players in the entire league, and I really do believe that. So just to see him start to get more confident, for him to have to get the ball a lot more, and to him he's going to get into a rhythm, being the second guy up that we haven't seen throughout his entire career thus far. So that's the guy I'm behind this year.
Easy guy to stand for sure. And if he goes off, I mean, it will be fun. If it will feel a lot like Murray and Yoke if Porter goes off this year, where it's like, yeah, I told you guys. Welcome to the show. Harrison, who are you standing?
I'm standing Aaron Gordon this year.
Whoa.
Aaron Gordon, guys, he's going to have a monster year, I think, really on both ends of the floor. I don't think he's going to set career highs in scoring, but I bet he'll set a career high in efficiency. If you look at his numbers, Aaron Gordon shot 50% from the field last year once he came over in the trade. His previous career high was 46%. So I think he could even like shoot better than 50% from the field this year. He's going to get so many easy baskets around the
That
rim.
should be his goal. I like that as a goal, just to be like, don't worry about 3-point percentage, this or that. Like, what could your highest field goal percentage be? Because he really could just dunk everything.
Yeah. I just think he's going to have a really easy year offensively if he wants to. He's going to build a really great chemistry with Nikola Jokic. And then defensively, I think he's really going to start to build his rep like he did late last year into the playoffs as one of the premier on-ball defenders in the league. I think he's going to get a lot of chances to do that against Luka, not against Kawhi, but against Paul George, LeBron. So I think his rep as a defender, I think, is really going to rise as well.
Eric just texted me. He just wanted me to let everybody know he's standing Devon Reed this year.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I figured.
Mr. Dependable. I can see that.
Devon Reed off the board, Mr. Dependable. The board is yours.
Yeah, obviously this is where I say Bones. I am going to leave that for Eric. Eric's in the chat, Eric. Just go all caps, lose your mind. I'm going to go Will Barton.
Yeah.
Who, no longer Will Barton the third, by the way, just Will Barton. Devastating news for whoever runs the DNVR Nuggets Twitter.
This was big news that we forgot to hit on yesterday's show.
It's going to be
back to Will Barton.
Oh, I didn't hear. So he said this he's done with the third?
Oh, PR told us that. So now I got to get way more creative with my Will tweeting.
A report.
Maybe his dad just found out he had another kid or something.
Not touching it, but we're moving on.
Yeah. So Will Barton, he's in a great place physically and mentally. Like you said, you said something. You worded it well. He's floating right now. He's got that Barton shine to him right now. And I'm, it would be a fun thing from the fan standpoint, galvanizing for the team. Longest tenured Nugget. It's been a rough go of late. But when he's healthy, he plays well. And so can he do that this time? Can he attain his goal of contributing to a playoff run? I'm interested to see how that works out.
Nice headset.
Thank you. I found this on the side of the highway in Wyoming on a road trip with TJ McBride.
Is this a true story?
It is. We were coming back from the Jazz game. We got stranded in Rollins overnight. And then we were pulling out into the highway, and I saw what looks like a Beats case. And yeah, it is lavender. And I'll tell you what, lavender looks even better when it was free, baby.
We let Eric take. Eric, you get Bones, so Eric is going to stand Bones. But
you can have them, Eric.
This is what I love about this team. I mean, there is so many guys. It's fun to pick little guys. We're all obviously Jokic, Murray, like it's easy there. But it's fun that there's so many different guys you can kind of attach yourself to and say, hey, man, this is just my guy. I like what they do. Aaron Gordon's a great one. I thought that one was really cool as well. So I dig it. All right, Dev, you want to make us some money today?
And don't say Derek Rose. Oh, sorry, he went already. That's right. Okay.
Open up DraftKings Sportsbook, everybody. We're betting together. We're getting the juju. We get the good juju going for this entire season. What do you got?
Well, I'm sorry. Hang on. It's not garbage. They were free Beats headphones, fully functional in the case. All right.
But they were also garbage, right?
I would
whatever the ear equivalent of herpes is, you probably got it.
So just taking a look at the line tonight. So it started at 7.5. It's all the way up to 9. So I'm not sure if there was any
wow. People are jumping on this line.
That just happened. -9. Oh, yeah. What that means that people are just pushing the line. They know that the Nuggets have to get a win. Malone has talked about, at least getting the win. I don't think that they're going to go without, setting up the tone for the entire year. -9 is so high for me. It really is high. That's not what I'm going to go on. My lock, I'm going to go right back to the well. Under 224. I feel like we should have the last game. There was no reason it should win it to overtime. So if you take that away, it's going to be an under game. And that's at plus money right now. So I would just get it right now.
Can't believe I'm putting a unit on an under for preseason again. Like, do I not want fun? Here's the thing I'll say. I think the Nuggets are going to come out and dominate tonight. You're right, 9 is tough because Peter Corneli could single-handedly blow this for Bol last year. I don't know if you guys remember. The Nuggets had so many double-digit leads with the 5 minutes to go, and then Bol would come in and it would go on a 20-0 run and the line would change. That might happen tonight. But I do think the offense hums tonight. I don't know if the defense does, but I think the offense hums tonight.
Well, I think the defense might kind of hum because of who they're playing against. I mean, the Thunder are also 0-2. They've lost both preseason games, I think, by around 20 points each. They're not good. So that might be why the offense also hums.
The most reckless bet of my life. I'm putting it on Nuggets -9 in a preseason.
And Michael Malone tried to push back yesterday and said it's not about wins and losses. I'm calling bullshit. He wants a win so badly tonight. He does.
I love it. Over under. I like this. If I set the line at 3 threes, I'd go under.
I would go under because I really do think they're going to try to get the starters some more minutes. Like, this is like the real dress rehearsal for them. So I don't see him playing the same type of minutes that he was before, the team going through him. But I do think that he's still going to try to put up some buckets when he gets in the game, just not threes.
No. Yeah. All right. Any other predictions for the game? Half-court heaves?
Sorry, I'm just reading myself get effing roasted in these comments already. Just absolutely destroyed.
Bones Hyland breaks Jeremiah Robinson Earl, your boys' ankles tonight. That's my prediction.
I like it. I'm going to go with Yoke triple-double in like 24 minutes.
Do you think he'll jump to the front of the MVP race if he gets a triple-double tonight?
I think he'll be the leading MVP getter.
It's a little early, but
Monte 6 assists tonight. I know, like, that's the most. That's a Harrison Wynn prediction right there, like a pragmatic
6 assists, 1 turnover. Like, real bold.
Probably what we're getting tonight. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It should be fun. We're going to be back live right after the game. This should be a good one. I think this is going to be the most interesting and meaty preseason game. Like, I think there'll be a lot of meat for us to chew on in the post-game show. So we'll see everybody right back here. It was a good chat today, guys. Congrats on being a great chat today. All right.
Good work, everyone.
All right. Later.
You got to close the show, though.